What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk here, back with another video. Today we're going to be discussing the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1 loss to the St. Louis Blues. We're going to get into a lot of topics in this video, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this. But again, just a terrible loss for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They haven't been scoring very much, of course, being shut out in their last game, and now a 4-1 loss here. They didn't have a ton of shots on goal. We're going to get into that. We're going to be looking at Tyler Bozak's return, of course, playing for the St. Louis Blues. Welcome back. We'll get into that. But again, 4-1, this definitely isn't the type of game that you want to go on a break after. Just a very tough loss. You know, they're on a break now till Wednesday, and they're going to be playing Winnipeg in Winnipeg, so that's going to be a very tough matchup. But again, we're just going to get into the stats like I always do. Goalie statistics first. Let's get into it. So it was Jake Allen for the Blues and Freddie Anderson in goal for the Leafs. A bit of a decent night for both, I would say. Allen with the better night. There wasn't a ton of shots on goal in this game for either side, but we're going to get into it. So Jake Allen had 23 shots against, 1 goal against, so he had 22 saves. Freddie Anderson, 24 shots against, 3 goals against for 21 saves. Like I said, just not a ton of shots on goal tonight. Both goalies weren't, you know, very active, and I mean, that's not their fault. I'm sure they like nights like that, but unfortunately Freddie Anderson was on the rough side of it, and there was obviously an empty net goal, but we'll get to that. So we'll start off in the first period where both teams were basically asleep. Now, the thing is with teams, when they're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, they kind of have to play their own style of game and hope that Toronto gets sucked into it. In this first period, the Leafs were not getting very many shots. I believe by the end of it, they had 4 or 5, probably 5. And then into the second period, they only had like 7 shots on goal. So St. Louis was keeping them into a certain space. Like they were playing like neutral zone hockey. That's what I like to call it, but I'm sure other people do as well. But they were keeping them to a style where St. Louis was just constantly dominating them in the neutral zone, and the Leafs weren't really getting any scoring chances, even with a power play, I believe. If not, it was in the second period, and the Leafs didn't have a shot on it. If not, they had like 1 shot. So this first period didn't have a lot of action. The one thing that I will talk about is Tyler Bozak. I was going to leave it till the end, but this is when the tribute came on. It was a 42-second tribute. As clever as that is, I wish it was longer, but Tyler Bozak, man, what can I say? I was getting a little emotional watching the tribute on Twitter afterwards, because you know how they always do the tributes. They don't show it. If you're in the arena, you see it, but if you're watching on TV, you don't. He did the little wave like everybody does. His family, his son, just a beautiful family there. It was awesome to see, but the tribute was nice. Tyler Bozak put his blood, sweat, and tears into playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs for like a decade. He wasn't drafted. He got signed to the Leafs, and he just did what he was supposed to do, and he put up points. He wasn't, you know, the greatest player that everybody you know, was always on all the time, like the spotlight, like Phil Kessel, but he was a guy that everybody kind of went to and said, okay, Tyler Bozak's on the ice, you know, he's a fan favorite. Everybody kind of, you know, went to him and was like, okay, you know, Bozak's our guy. We like this guy for a long time. And of course, towards the end, people didn't like the way he played on the defensive side of the ice, but I have a lot of respect for him. Tyler Bozak, thank you very much for your time in Toronto. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This guy is welcome back to Canada, Toronto, anytime he wants to. I'm sure anybody would agree with that. An excellent guy, excellent family, beautiful family. So we'll just keep going here, but thank you, Tyler Bozak. We'll go into the second period where finally a team got on the board, and of course it wasn't the Toronto Maple Leafs. Robert Bortuzzo scored his first of the season, and St. Louis has been struggling a little this year, and for them to get a guy like Bortuzzo on the board, getting his first of the season, getting him start to roll, maybe this will help some of these guys getting some points, because the Blues record, I believe, they definitely did not have a good record, 1-3-2. I think now they're 2-3-2 now. I can't remember if it was updated, because I think they had a win already. So again, just got the Blues on the board, 1-0. And one thing I noticed too this game is a lot of the players were really slow, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, there's not a lot of very specific pinpoint things that I can talk about in this game because it was boring. The Leafs were being trapped. The Blues played a very quiet style of game. They didn't get a ton of shots either, but they were able to trap the Leafs into their system, and it kind of worked. Anyways, then towards the end of the second period, the Blues grabbed a couple more. Zach Sanford scored his first of the year. Like I said, the Blues starting to get guys rolling will definitely help. This is not the start that they figured they were going to get. With Allen starting to go now, he's starting to roll. Got some guys like Bortuzzo getting a goal here. Sanford grabbing his first. the Blues were just passing really well, and then Ryan O'Reilly, I believe it was either at the end of a it was definitely at the end of a power play. Oh, it wasn't even on the power play. I thought for sure that they were on the power play. Maybe it was just after. I'm pretty sure it was, but it was a nice passing play regardless, and he potted it in. I believe it was 5-hole, and that was when it was 3-0, and it kind of looked pretty bad for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They ended up getting a power play chance at the end of the second period where Kapanen rung one off of the bar. Just a very bad luck for the Leafs. I mean, Kadri hit another post. I feel really bad. He keeps hitting posts. Anyways, going into the third period, about 4 minutes in, Morgan Rielly getting it done. He got his 4th of the season from Marner and Gardner. He just squeezed that one through, and the Leafs started to put on some more shots, but it just wasn't enough. And then towards the end, the Leafs got another power play. There was a couple missed calls for both sides. I mean, look at when Kadri hopped on the ice and friggin' Frederick Anderson wasn't even close to the boards. I mean, they had an argument there. Both teams had an argument. The refs weren't, you know, the factor in this game. And like I said, they had a power play towards the end of the third, and Barbashev scored his first of the season, technically shorthanded on the empty net. Nobody just got anything going tonight. There was a lot of, and I hate to say it, but there was a lot of selfish shots tonight. I would like to add on some of the power plays, there was guys taking shots that probably shouldn't have been taking shots. Like there was a couple times where Matthews was shooting, and I know it's Austin Matthews, but when there's a blatant opportunity to pass to a teammate and you're taking a shot that goes right into a guy's shin pads, like you kind of have to be like, okay, man, I gotta pass next time. So a tough 4-1 loss for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're going to roll on to Winnipeg, and that's not going to be easy. So this wasn't a very long review because, I mean, let's be honest here. The Leafs didn't do a lot. The Blues scored when they needed to. This wasn't a very exciting game. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. And if you're a Blues fan, great game for you. Leaf fans, not so much. So we'll have to go to Winnipeg and see what they can do because this is going to be very tough. We're playing Winnipeg a couple times here, so it's going to be difficult. Patrick Laine, Bufflin, Wheeler, Scheifele, the whole friggin' squad, Connor, Ehlers, just the whole team. They're good. And you forgot to mention their best goaltender there, Hellebuck. He's good. Trouba, oh god, I'm starting to get a little worried now. Anyways, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Man, I really gotta start getting that outro locked in. Anyways, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 4,000 subscribers. Make sure to click that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. We got to get a win here. Peace.